Next, if you look at your diagram, your packet, it tells you for the next thing you do are your devices. You're going to put your terminations, single pole switch, duplex receptacle, and a three-way switch. Okay, there's your three things. And again, at the bottom, it shows you using the splice, your stripper. If you're going to do the termination, it's from here to here. Okay. So the first is your single pole switch. Okay. Single pole switch has two brass terminals and one green terminal for the ground wire. Now, to save wire, you don't have to use two separate wires. You could just use both ends of one wire, because on the switch, there's no white wire goes on the switch. Like a black, red, or blue. Okay? And then a bare copper wire goes on the green. So again, for your terminals, if you see here on the paper, it's the 5 holes for the stripper. So you hold your wire on here, put your finger there. All right? Use the center hole again and strip the wire off. Again, using your thumb as a fulcrum, pulling the wire through the stripper. Now, you see on the stripper there's the holes right here. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to cover the back of the hole with your finger. Okay? Put the wire in the hole till you feel it hit against your finger. And then holding down and pushing, you're going to wrap the wire around the stripper, and that's how you make your loop. If you see how it didn't go enough, you could just use your strippers to just squeeze that loop a little more so it goes down and make a perfect loop. Because when you're doing your terminals, you want the wire to go around the terminal, okay, 3/4 of the way around. And you want to make sure it's completely under it before you tighten. Okay, and again, just like the splices, it's going around clockwise. All right. Then once you get the wire under the terminal, you take your straight blade screwdriver, the one with the square shank, okay, and tighten the screw. Okay. And you want to make sure it's nice and snug. Okay, because I shouldn't be able to loosen it with using just 2 fingers. It should stay snug. All right. Now, once you get that done, this terminal done, you take the other end of your wire. Again, measure it, strip it, make your loop by putting in the hole until it hits your finger, and then bend it around the stripper. So you want your loop to look like that when it's done. Okay. Again, putting the wire under the terminal, clockwise direction. You hold it to make sure it stays down so it's completely under the terminal. Make sure it's nice and snug. Okay, so that's what the terminal should look like when it's done. For the and you could use either black, red, or blue. Okay, no white on the switch. White goes to silver terminals on the plugs only. And then you have your green screw. Remember that bare copper wire that I said you put aside from when you were doing your splices? Okay, you take that now. Again, the same thing. Cover the back of the hole with your finger. Put the wire in. Bend a loop. Okay, then you're going to do the same thing. Going around clockwise. Put the bare copper wire on the green terminal and you tighten it down. Make sure it's good and snug, because you don't want, it shouldn't be loose. Again, I shouldn't be able to loosen it with 2 fingers. All right, so this is a properly terminated single pole switch. You have your bare copper wire on the green screw, and then you have your black or red wires on the brass terminals. Okay, so that's, now that you're done with your your single pole switch, you could move on to your duplex receptacle. Okay, now we're going to do the terminate the conductors on the duplex receptacle. You see one side has 2 silver terminals, a green screw, that's your ground, The silver terminals is your neutral, that's your white wire. And the brass terminals are you could use either black, red, or blue. All right. Now, if you can't tell by looking at the colors, if you notice the front of the receptacle, if you notice there's one slot that's larger, and if you turn it, that goes to the silver terminals. Okay. So now you're going to need 3 pieces of wire. You're going to need a bare copper wire for the ground. You're going to need a white wire for the neutral. And then you can use either a black, red, or blue if you find it for the brass terminals. Okay, so I'm going to put black on this one. So you can start whatever terminal you like first. I'll do the ground first. Okay. Again, it's going around clockwise, making sure it's completely under the terminal, the screw, and you tighten it down. See, so it's a properly terminated ground conductor. Now I'm going to take it and do my neutral, the white wire. Again, I'm going to measure the 5 holes, strip it, make my loop. Again, it's going to go around clockwise, okay? Making sure the insulation doesn't go under the screw, and it's also not coming past the body of the device. That's why it's important how much insulation you skin off the wire. So you tighten that down, and remember it goes around clockwise. Okay. You take the other end of the white wire. Again, you strip it. Make your loop. You need to close it a little bit. I made my loop. I'm going to put it around the wire again, clockwise direction. Okay, now that you have your neutral and the ground done, you turn the receptacle around, and you're going to do your brass terminal that gets, again, your black or red wire. Okay, again, safe wire, I'm just using one conductor, one piece of wire. I mean, you could do one of 2 ways. You could take it and skin, make both your loops first, if you would like, before you put it on your wire device, the wire on the device. Okay. Wire under the terminal, and again making sure it's going completely around. So as you can see, this loop is a little bit open. Okay. So because it's open, I want to just take my lines and pliers and just close it, so it'll go fully around the terminal. Okay, now they got that tightened. Put the other loop on the other terminal. Make sure it's nice and snug. So now that's the hot side of the duplex receptacle is done. So now you've completed the terminations on the duplex receptacle. Now you can move on to your 3-way switch. Okay, now you're going to be doing the terminations on the 3-way switch. Okay, a 3-way switch has 3 terminals and 1 ground. Okay, because a 3-way switch, you use 2 3-way switches to control a group of lights from 2 locations. So a single pole switch you use to control a group of lights from 1 location. So when you need, like at your house, you might have a switch at the top of the stairs and the bottom of the stairs that controls the same light or group of lights. That's a 3-way switch. Okay, it has a green terminal on it. Then it has 2 brass terminals, which are the travelers, and a black terminal, which is the pivot, the common terminal. Okay, so this one here, you're going to get 3 pieces of wire. Remember, no white wire goes on the switches, so you're going to get a black and a red and a bare copper ground. All right, make it kind of easy. The black wire, it goes to the black terminal. And you can use either. You can use red or blue. Okay. And again, you're going to make your loop. Okay. Now, do you see how this is a little bit longer? The insulation is down because I skinned too much off, because I wanted to show you that if that is the case. So what you need to do, because when you go to put it on your device, even though this one's okay, it's right to the end, you don't want your insulation coming past your body of your device. So you want to just take it and make it a little shorter so your insulation stops about there. Okay. So you could either straighten it out or just cut it off. You have a long enough wire. Again, remeasure. Okay. Again, if you need to close the loop a little bit, you could put your screwdriver in there to close it. Okay, so I got my black terminal done. Now I have the two travelers. See, they're the brass. So again, you could use your one piece of red wire for the two traveler terminals. Okay, make your loops on the wire. Okay, you have both your loops made. Put one under the brass, one terminal. Turn the device around, make sure the screw's all the way out. And again, making sure the wire goes around the terminal clockwise direction. Because the reason for that is when you're tightening the screw, there's actually, these are called binding post screws. There's actually like little fine teeth or a groove that actually grabs the wire and will pull it around the terminal as you tighten it. So if you put the wire around counterclockwise, as you tighten the screw, it's going to actually push the wire out and could loosen the splice. And if you have a loose splice, it's a loose terminal or a loose splice, it's a very bad thing because you could start a fire with a loose connection. So that's why, even though we call these basic electrical skills that you're learning here, with your splices and your terminations, it's very important because a loose splice or a loose terminal could start a fire. Okay? That's why I spend a lot of time and put a lot of importance into this. Again, I put the bare copper wire on the green screw, which is the ground conductor. Okay, so now you've completed the terminations on your three-way switch. So I have my ground wire, terminal for the traveler, terminal for the traveler, and then the black one is for the common, okay, or the pivot. All right, so now you've completed your termination of your three-way switch, your duplex receptacle, and your single pole switch. And again, I'll have all three of these along with the splices on my desk so you can compare yours to mine. All right, and then when I come in, I'll grade them all. Okay?